secretly. Just kidding. America's the best. What am I talking about? Alright, so Fire Mage. They're not Fire Mage. Frost Mage. Frost Mage, Lonely Winter, pretty much your go-to town here. Pretty much just increases your damage by 28%. Kind of a no-brainer there. Shimmer gives you 2 blinks. Castable while moving. Makes you get cast off easier. Lets you just get away from people, so it's generally very, very strong. And Cancer's Flow, just for the increased damage passively. Don't have to put much thought into it, and just increases your damage. Splitting Ice, because it causes your Ice Lance and Icicles to now deal 5% increased damage and hit a nearby target for 80% of their damage. This is good for Battlegrounds. In Arena, I've seen people take Ice Nova in Arena, but Splitting Ice for Battlegrounds, Ice Nova for Arena. I take Ice Ward just for the 2 Frost Nova charges. You can also take Ring of Frost for the CEC, or the Frigid Winds for the extra slow effect. I take Arctic Gale because it increases the damage of Blizzard. I don't like the other 2 talents, don't want to talk about those, but if you want to try those, and go for it. And Comet Storm or Glacial Spike. I switch between these 2. I don't take Thermal Void, but Glacial Spike for, like 1 million hits all the time, and then Comet Storm just for, instant cast. If you don't want to cast Glacial Spike, I would suggest just taking, if you don't want to cast Glacial Spike, I'd suggest taking Comet Storm. And Honor Talents, Temporal Shield, Prismatic Cloak, Mind Quickness, Gladiator's Medallion, Frostbite, because it just freezes people every now and then. And then Concentrated Coolness, increases damage by 225%, is castable at a location and now 40-yard range. Pretty much makes your Frozen Orb be on steroids. That's all it does. So again, gonna throw Frozen Orb in the middle, throw Comet Storm out, and then just spam Ice Lance for the most part. That's all I have to do. And again, mostly everyone's dead already. I'm gonna go on that guy. Throw an Ebon Bolt at him. He's probably just going to fall over there. And again, going to throw a Blizzard down. Pretty much as Frost Mage, you just want to throw Blizzards down. Throw Blizzards down. Throw Ice Lances everywhere. Throw Frozen Orbs everywhere. You just try to get as much out of your area effect spells as possible without that affecting your single target rotation, I suppose. And then when you have nothing else to press, just press Frostbolt. And that's your worst fear, pretty much. Your worst fear is that you just have nothing to press but Frostbolt. But it happens every now and then. And that's Frost Mage. So again, I'll show you guys the kind of rotation here in a little bit once we capture this objective. But pretty much, you throw your Blizzard down to slow people. It also reduces the cooldown of your Frozen Orb, so keep that in mind. And your Frozen Orb does do a ton of damage. I'm going to throw a Comet Storm on that Druid. And again, throw Frozen Orb and Blizzard on top of him. And then just use Ice Lance when we get those Ice Lance procs. We're going to throw that Blizzard right there. We should probably focus the healer here, so I'm going to do that. Always use Ebon Bolt whenever it's up, and then follow with a Flurry and then an Ice Lance. It does just do a ton of damage. So would suggest that. Be wary of your surroundings when you are playing Frost Mage, because you will take a ton of damage instantly, and you have no way of recovering your health. So that's just something to kind of watch out for. And again, you want to use your Ice Lances before you use your Flurry. That's one thing I would suggest. And then just always make sure your Frozen Orb is up / doing something or getting its cooldown reduced by Blizzard. And always use your Ice Lances with Frozen Frost Touch, Frozen Fingers. I don't even know what that ability is called anymore. But pretty much always make sure your Ice Lances are empowered. And just hit huge Frostbolts. Hit huge Frostbolts. Hit, Ebon Bolts, Glacial Spikes, all that jazz. Just do it every time, man. That's all you gotta do. You'll see here, I'm gonna throw an Ebon Bolt on this guy. So, I'm just gonna Ebon Bolt him, and then Flurry him, and then Ice Lance him. And most of that damage was me, even though his health didn't really move, but... we'll throw a Comet Storm on that Demon Hunter. Believe that Ret's on me, so I'm going to use Temporal Shield here. And again, Frozen Orb, put my Blizzard on top of it, and then just use kind of Frostbolt and Ice Lance as well. And again here, just use Ice Lance whenever you get those Frozen Touch, or Frozen procs, I don't even know what it's called anymore, but whenever you get those procs, you're going to want to use your Ice Lance. And then use Flurry whenever you can get it with the proc, and then follow it with an Ice Lance as well. That's generally all you do, boys, for Frost Mage. It's pretty simple. I mean, I like it. And again, kind of just going to explain whatever I can when the time arrives. By that I mean whenever there's a huge fight in the middle, I'll explain what I'm doing. And here we go. So Blizzard, throw Frozen Orb down, use Icy Veins for the damage increase, and then just kind of kite everyone, apply slows to everyone. I'm going to use Ebon Bolt on the healer here, so Ebon Bolt with a flurry, and then an Ice Lance followed. Use my Comet Storm after that. Going to put my Blizzard on top of them to reduce the cooldown of my Frozen Orb. My Frozen Orb is almost up, so you'll see here my Frozen Orb is up. Gonna try to just kind of kite away. Gonna throw my Frozen Orb here just to slow everyone. I'm gonna go on the healer here. I'm gonna die here as well. Going to try and just kind of run away, but probably just gonna die anyway. Yeah, I'm dead. Good stuff, guys. Wish we had a healer in the middle. A lot of energy to stream so long. Not really. I've only been streaming for 4 hours. 4 hours isn't too long. A lot of people stream for like 8 hours. That's what blows my mind, but... So again, just use Flurry whenever it comes up, follow with an Ice Lance. So Flurry Ice Lance there because I got 2 Flurry procs. Again, I'm going to go on this guy, even though he is just a dwarf. But I'll go on him anyway. He's about that here. Yep. Frost Mage is fun. We will throw Frozen Orb over there because that's just a lot of people. I'm going to go on the Kaz guy because I believe that's a YouTuber. And I always focus YouTubers because I love bullying YouTubers, so... And again, just Ebon Bolt, Flurry. Should have followed that with an Ice Lance, but it's not a huge deal. Poor guy just won't even live here. I don't think he's going on me. I believe he's still going on the Fire Mage, but... Ooh, weird. Uses Disengage. Odd. Forgot it's daytime in America. It is. It is indeed. And I used Comet Storm there. And again, when I don't have anything to use, you kind of have to press just Frostbolt. That's the worst part about the rotation, but... I guess that's the only bad part about Frost Mage rotation. You just have nothing to press, you only use Frostbolt. And again, since I have a Flurry proc, I'm going to use that on the Elemental, and then follow it with an Ice Lance. And again, since I have nothing to use, I'm going to use Frostbolt until I get an Ice Lance proc, or a Flurry proc. And again, I don't have anything to use, so I'm just going to use Frostbolt, and then you just repeat that over, and over, and over again. So in AoE situations, you're going to want to put your Blizzard down in the most AoE dense area. Hello there. Okay, uses Turtle. That's fine. I'll just blink up here. I'm going to throw my Blizzard down. Going to interrupt that Flash Shield. Hopefully kill that guy. There we go. We'll throw an Ebon Bolt on this guy. Get the huge damage off. Going to throw my Blizzard down again to reduce the cooldown of my Frozen Orb. Gonna pop my burst here. Gonna probably focus the hunter that's trying to attack me for some reason. Or he's just jumping to me. I can't tell which one it is. And again, throw my Frozen Orb down and just spam Ice Lance since I'm probably gonna get a lot of procs here. Gonna go on the Elemental here. Gonna blink so I don't get knocked off the edge. Yeah, Comet Storm just for the damage. Get a Flurry proc. Gonna use that. Gonna use Temporal Shield here because the Druid is gonna do decent damage to me, I believe. And going to slowly, very slowly kill the Priest because I don't have any procs. Not Priest, that was a Druid, by the way. And we'll kill the Priest here. Give me 1 proc. There we go. That's what I like. Again, since I used Flurry, I will do decent damage. Oh, that actually did a bunch of damage. Well, yeah, I mean, that's Frost Mage. Since I don't have anything to use here, I'll just put a Blizzard on that guy, just for the walls, but... Since I have Flurry, I'm going to use Flurry and then follow with an Ice Lance. And then... Yeah, the only thing you really have to keep track of as a Frost Mage is it still possible to get a Flurry proc, Ebon Bolt, Ice Lance, Ebon Bolt, Flurry proc, Ice Lance for 1 shot, Flurry proc, Ebon Bolt. You can use Ebon Bolt, Flurry, Ice Lance, Flurry, Ice Lance, if that's what you're talking about. I'll try and do it here. I don't like doing it because it's easy to fuck up, but it's the only reason I don't like doing it. So since there's so many people grouped, obviously, I'm going to throw down a Blizzard. Didn't really get the cast off there, so that's a little awkward, but... We'll get it off here again. Gonna throw Comet Storm there just because I don't have anything else to use. Hopefully that Shaman doesn't just run in the middle. Gonna throw Frozen Orb in the middle of everyone and use Blizzard and just run around and Ice Lance. Gonna blink so I don't get flung off the edge there. Gonna just kill that guy, or whoever is in middle, I suppose. Druid. We'll go on the Druid. And here I'll kind of showcase the single target rotation, since we don't really showcase that a lot. I'm gonna blink away from you, because I know you'll just mind control me off the edge. And we will go back up. I don't think we have a healer. We do. He's just, I don't know, healing other people, more important people than me. I'm gonna use Comet Storm on this guy. I just want to see how much damage it'll do. Killed him. So again, since I have nothing to press here, I'm actually gonna throw a Frozen Orb up on that little shelf up there with all the people. Since he has Grounding Totem up, I'm not gonna use any of my Ice Lances yet. Now that it's down, I'll use my Ice Lances. And we'll go on... I don't know. We'll just throw a Blizzard out, because why not? Don't really need to throw Blizzards out unless they're really high grouped up. We're going to go on the Mage here, and again, just Ebon Bolt, Flurry, Ice Lance, and that does, like, all of that guy's health, so... That's what I mean when I say the burst for... not Elemental, for Frost is strong. And again, since I got a Flurry proc there, all I did was use Flurry, use the Ice Lance. That's all I do. Again, since I have nothing to press here, just going to use Frostbolt. Going to use the Flurry on this guy, follow with an Ice Lance, does like a fourth of his health. I have nothing to use. Going to use just Frostbolt. Going to use the Ice Lance proc before my Flurry, so I don't waste that Ice Lance proc. Going to throw a Frozen Orb and a Blizzard out on those two. And I'm going to focus the Arcane Mage that's actually hitting me for some reason. I'm getting polymorphed. I don't know what polymorphed me there. Really don't. We'll see if I can just burst this guy. I'm dead here. Yeah. So the single target kind of ability priority is if you don't have any procs, just Frostbolt. If you have Flurry proc and Ice Lance proc, use your Ice Lance procs before your Flurry proc. If you have a Flurry proc, make sure you have no Ice Lance procs and then immediately follow your Flurry proc with an Ice Lance. If you're in an AoE situation, use your Frozen Orb, throw your Blizzard on top of the Frozen Orb, and then if there's still people grouped up very heavily, I would suggest just keep on, like, continuing using Blizzard, because it will reduce the cooldown of your Frozen Orb. So that's kind of the very basic of Frost Mage. There's really not much to it. Pretty much just using procs. Even if you just use your procs, and you're not, like, maximizing your potential, you'll still do a bunch of damage. We'll see what happens here. Is there only one person here? Okay, yeah. Just kidding. More people are going to show up, so we will deal with that. We're going to throw the Frozen Orb right there. Going to use Ice Lance, or Icy Veins, my bad. And again, Ebon Bolt, Flurry, Ice Lance. And I used my, you'll notice right there, I did use my Ice Lance proc before I used my Flurry proc, and that's so I don't waste the Ice Lance proc itself. And again, Flurry followed by an Ice Lance does about 1 million damage combined there. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. My ears hurt very much. Let's go towards middle. They're coming for the flag, boys. That dwarf. He had nitro boots. He had stealth. I imagine he's trying to just go on the flag carrier. Yeah. Poor guy. He thought his plan was foolproof, but little did he know that the Frost Mage knew what he was doing. And again, gonna throw the Blizzard in his path just so he's slowed, reduced cooldown of my Frozen Orb spell. And we will just Ice Bolt, Ice Bolt, Ice Bolt. I love Ice Bolt, man. Ice Bolt should be a thing. It's pretty much Glacial Spike. We'll go over here. So, you'll see here, there's a ton of people in that little group over there, so I'm probably going to throw a Blizzard in that kind of area. Hopefully I'll get more than just one person in it, but I did fuck up my kind of rotation there. I did use my Flurry proc before I used all my Ice Lance procs, so you don't ever really want to do that. Again, I'm going to throw my Frozen Orb in the middle, and I'm going to throw my Blizzard down in a little bit. There we go. We'll go on the healer here and use all my Ice Lance procs on her. Again, use my Ice Lance procs. I'm going to use my Ebon Bolt on this Resto, or Feral Druid, sorry. And we'll throw that Blizzard down for that guy, just to make sure they're all slowed, and I will get reduced cast time, or reduced cooldown time on my Frozen Orb from that as well. And again, just going to use Flurry, follow with an Ice Lance, use another Flurry, follow with an Ice Lance, and probably throw my Comet Storm out there. and then throw my Blizzard in case they actually try and move forward, which they don't. Gonna blink, use Flurry, use Ice Lance on this guy. Hey Paradidu video showing boomy relics and traits. Traits don't matter in PvP, in case you don't know, so no, I do not. And again, Frozen Orb followed by Blizzard on top of it with Ice Lance procs followed by it as well, because you'll generate a ton of Ice Lance procs when you do use Blizzard. And again, since there's so many people grouped up, we will use that. Use Comet Storm on that Hunter just because he's standing there. We'll go on the healer here with an Ebon Bolt and a... well, that grounding totem definitely absorbed most of it, so that's awkward. He knew what he was doing, Steel Chains. You god, you. That's GG, boys. Flurry, Ice Lance. I imagine they're gonna maybe try and just, like, kind of cap, but I doubt it. That Feral's kind of looking like he's eyeing me down, yeah. And we'll go on him. Get no procs, feels bad, man. We'll throw that Frozen Orb out, get procs out, and we'll Ice Lance, Comet Storm, do decent damage to that Arcane Mage, throw another Blizzard out, use Flurry, follow with an Ice Lance, go on the resto here, gonna use Ebon Bolt, Flurry, Ice Lance, Flurry, Ice Lance, just gets one shot, Flurry, Ice Lance, probably dead. Okay, that's pretty much GG. Like, dude, I don't know how old I am anymore. Damn. Damn, Joker. So that's Frost Mage, guys. It's definitely not too hard. You're pretty much just keeping track of all your procs. Yeah, use your Ice Lance procs before your Flurry. Once you do use your Flurry proc, you're going to want to use your Ice Lance followed by that every time because it will do the additional damage. If you use your Frozen Orb and use your Blizzard on top of it, you'll generate a ton of Ice Lance procs. If you use your Blizzard in high area groups with like 3+ people, the cooldown of your Frozen Orb will be reduced significantly, so I'd keep an eye out for that. Always use Ebon Bolt and follow with a Flurry and Ice Lance. And don't forget about your slows. That's the most OP thing about Frost, is just the slows they have, but yeah, that's Frost Mage, guys.